So today I am going to be doing a non-spoilery review for Idiosyncratic by Britt Nunes. I was sent this book from the author in exchange for an honest review, so let's just get started. So this book is a sci-fi dystopian novella, and in this book, humans are just a legend. Earth is now inhabited by this race of people that have green scales, and this book follows our main character, Lisette. I think that's how you say her name, and she is an orphan. She's 19 years old now, and the whole time that she's been an orphan, she hasn't been adopted because she has a defect. So in this race of people, they can kind of read each other's minds, but her defect is that she can't read anyone's mind and no one can read hers. So for that reason, she has never been adopted or auctioned off, really, because that's how they get adopted out. But she's 19 now, and her one goal is just to age out of this problem, because when she turns 20, then she's just going to be released out. Then she ends up getting adopted by a mad scientist. That's all I'm going to tell you about the plot. It is a novella. It's pretty short. It looks like a normal sized book, but the book is very small, and like there are not a lot of words on the pages, so it is a very quick read, so I don't want to tell you too much about the plot. So I ended up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but I did have a few problems with it. So one of my biggest problems that I had with this book was the world building and the lack of descriptions. The only way I can really explain it to you is by like giving you an example from the book. So as I said, it follows this race of people that have green scales, but there's really no other description of them other than that until like very close to the end of the book. So like for all I know, they could have had 5 legs and 4 arms, but there really was no description of what they looked like besides the fact that they had green scales. Also, because it follows these kinds of people and I knew that it was a sci-fi novel, I kind of assumed that it was going to take place on like a different sort of planet or in a different world, but it does take place on Earth. But I didn't realize until a couple chapters into the book, because they mentioned finding Disney World, or what used to be Disney World or Disneyland, and so that's how I figured out, oh, it's set on Earth. This whole time I'm picturing like a Mars kind of planet or something. So I just wish that stuff would have been better explained. I just wanted more world building and more descriptions. I think the best thing about this book was the plot. I thought it was really clever about how like Earth is inhabited by these other kind of creatures. I don't know if I mentioned it when I was explaining the synopsis, but there's like this myth in the book that the humans lurk in these toxic forests, and I just thought the plot was really clever, but I felt like I was missing half of the book. As I mentioned, this is a novella, so I imagine, you know, trying to write this really good sci-fi dystopian story into such a short span of pages would have to be pretty difficult, and because of that I felt like the pacing was a little bit off, the ending felt very rushed, and I just felt like I was missing stuff. Also, because of that, I feel like character development and stuff like that was kind of skimmed over because the story was so short. As far as the characters go, I liked the characters. They weren't like my all-time favorite, but I didn't hate them at all. There were probably like 3 or 4 characters that I did really like, but they were barely in the story, and one of them also died, which was unfortunate. I thought the writing was very good. It was very easy and light to read. I felt like I could get through it very quickly, and it was very engaging. One thing I do want to mention though was that this book sometimes felt a lot like a middle grade book, and there wasn't really any content in this book that would be inappropriate for middle grade readers. So personally I think it would be fine even though the main character is 19. But there was just stuff in this book that felt very reminiscent of a middle grade novel. So that's about all I have to say about this book. Personally, I just think it would have been a lot better if it was longer, if it was like a full-length novel, because as I said, you know, a dystopian sci-fi I think is usually done in a series, nonetheless a novella, so I just think it would have been better if it was a full novel, had a bit more world building and descriptions, a bit more character development. So yeah, as I said, overall I enjoyed it, but I did have those problems with it. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've read this book and what you thought of it, or if you're interested in reading it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!